Hello folks, Anita Rao. Hope everyone is well. So today I wanted to speak about Rahu's upcoming transit. Rahu will move into Ashwini on February 20th till October the 30th. Again, this date may vary a bit depending on where you are in the world. This is of course the mean node calculation. If you're seeing it from the true node perspective, then the entry actually would be earlier, on February the 6th. And Rahu would stay longer in Ashwini, till November the 28th. Thank you to those who have subscribed, and those who comment. And for the rest, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the right-hand side. And yes, if you need to contact me or find me on social media, I've put the links in the description box below. So, let's get started, yeah? Alright, so first I want to speak about Ashwini and then we'll get into Rahu's transit. Yeah. I've already done a video about Rahu in Aries, obviously, and then in that video I've spoken about the impact on all of the 12 signs. I'm going to link it at the end of this video. So if you haven't already seen Rahu in Aries, then have a look at that. Now, Rahu in Aries can be impulsive, but not so much in Parani, as I spoke about earlier. However, it can certainly be impulsive in Ashwini. There will continue to be a concentration on self-driven goals and plans, rather than group and couple-driven goals and plans. For part of this transit, as most of us already know, from late April to late October, Jupiter and Rahu will share the space in Aries, forming the Guru Jandal Yoga. With regard to the Guru Jandal Yoga, I'm going to speak about it in greater length. Yeah, when I make the Jupiter transit video. So, during Rahu's transit through Ashwini, as always, we have to pay attention to Ketu's position, right? And here, especially so, because Ketu will be transiting in Rahu's Nakshatra, Swati, and Rahu is in Ketu's Nakshatra, Ashwini. And is because of this, karmic events and consequences can be swiftly delivered in our lives. Now, so don't be surprised if you are faced with unexplained and unpredictable events. This is especially the case if you are in a Rahu or Ketu dasha or Antardasha. If you are in a Venus dasha, then you will feel some relief now, because Rahu is moving out in Parani. The restlessness in relationships will subside, but since Ketu is still in Libra, you may still feel stuck with forming close bonds, making new connections. Money matters may be slower than you would like them to be. Ketu in Swati, what it does is it obstructs the natural flow of things, right? And in this case, we're talking about Libra, where it's situated. So it can give that on again and off again energy in relationships. And that instability can affect money matters also. But Ketu leaves Swati in late June. Yeah. Rahu's movement into Ashwini activates this nakshatra. Ashwini's ruling deities are the Ashwin Kumars, the twin brothers, associated with medicine, associated with health and healing. These twin brothers are depicted as youthful and always ready to help others in need. They're depicted as full of energy, full of enthusiasm. The Ashwin brothers are also associated with bringing back to life or bringing light into another's life. They are quick, mobile, and always ready to serve. So at this time, we can see a revival of old projects, old ideas, old connections. People may become more self-centered now, though. I think this will change when Jupiter enters Aries in April. Yeah. At this time, you will also see developments and advancements in youth-invoking technologies with Rahu's movement in Ashwini. For instance, there could be an escalation in cosmetic surgeries. Anything to like kind of bring youth back into your life. There could also be a lot of emphasis on beauty-related surgeries. Right, because again, we're talking about youth. It could be LASIK for eye correction. People can also be more drawn toward Ayurvedic preparations to solve their problems, and also for restoring health, for restoring beauty, and for restoring youth at this time. Jupiter in Pisces supports this also, right? Because in Pisces the focus is on rejuvenation, because we're talking about Jupiter, right? We're talking about Jeev Karaka in Pisces. Focus can be on healing as well, rejuvenation, building mentally, physically. Ashwini is about medicine, so there can be a tremendous amount of research now on health and medicine. And you'll see a lot of people focused on health matters. When Jupiter moves into Aries to join Rahu, we can see a creation of new initiatives in all of these areas. A rebuilding of all sorts will happen just to counter the recession from April onward, to counter the recession, to this recession, because Jupiter joins there. So things will look up in that department in April as well. The ruling planet of Aries is Mars. The controlling planet for Ashwini is Ketu. Mars is currently in Taurus and Ketu is currently in Libra. So again, Venus-related matters like relationships, agreements can be adversely impacted. When Mars leaves Taurus in March, this will get easier and we can reap the benefit of Rahu's transit. It would then be a good time to start new initiatives and take some financial risks when Mars leaves Taurus. So let's take a closer look at Ashwini. Ashwins are described as the ones who turn the cycle of events in nature. They are symbolized with a horseman who drive a chariot. They come fast to your aid and they get you over to a better state than how they found you. So with Rahu here, you can encounter those who quickly come to your aid. But we're talking about Aries, so they may have some self-serving motives when they offer to help you. When Jupiter transits there, you will be able to see this more clearly. If you're engaging the help of healers or doctors to help heal, transform you in some way, this is a good time for that. There's a saying that it is darkest before dawn. Ashwins represent the dawn. So they come to your rescue when you're getting over your toughest periods, when it dawns, when the illness heals. So it is then that you experience a turning point of sorts, a new beginning, a fresh start. Ashwini symbolize timely aid and the satisfaction and joy when you finally get your prayers answered. Whereas Bharani symbolizes death, Ashwini symbolizes beginnings, birth, fresh starts. So see where Aries falls in your chart where you may experience fresh starts now. The controlling planet for Ashwini is Ketu. Ketu is associated with detachment, mystery, research, investigation, but also a disinterest in material life. And with Rahu moving through here, you may experience some frustration and agitation when it comes to making fresh starts, right? Especially if you're going through the Ketu Dasha or Antardasha. Because Rahu here will want to move forward, compete, and be number one in your endeavors. We're talking about Aries. The combination of the Mars and Ketu energy in Ashwini can bring some very quick, impulsive decision making. Ashwini Nakshatra tends to bring starts when it's getting activated, creativity, new ventures, but you have to check whether they're viable, as Ashwini is good at starting, but not so good at finishing what has been initiated. When Jupiter joins Rahu in late April, this gets even more pronounced. Right? So be watchful for those few weeks, I would say from mid-April to early May, because Jupiter will be in Gandanta then. So if you are starting something, double check the details. It's probably not the best time to start something anyway. It's also a time when we're going to be experiencing an eclipse in Ashwini, right, on April 20th, when Jupiter is in Gandanta. So double check the facts. Rahu, as usual, energizes the planet that it connects to in your chart. So look at that planet's significations to understand how you may be impacted. Whatever is placed in Ashwini gets activated, right? So Ashwini spans from 0 degrees of Aries till 1320 degrees. Rahu will start its transit in Pada 4 of Ashwini, in the Vamsha of Cancer, on February the 20th. In this Pada, you can focus on mental and physical healing. This may include changing your domestic situation in some way. You could rearrange your home, for instance, or fix things around your house. It's also a good time for going inward and understanding where you want to make changes in life. Yeah. This Pada 4 transit can make you feel a bit agitated, because Rahu here is with a debilitated Mars in the Navamsha, in the D9. But with Jupiter's aspect, you'll have to rely more on your intuition. And Mars is only there for a few days. Rahu moves through this Cancer Navamsha from February the 20th till April the 23rd. Throughout this transit, Rahu will be joined by all of the benefics. Right? Venus will transit Aries on March 12th, followed by Mercury, then the Sun, and then finally Jupiter. All this happens when Rahu remains in the Cancer Navamsha. So it's an excellent time for any home improvement activities, spending more time with family, spending more time at home. On April the 24th, Rahu moves into the third by the Gemini Navamsha. This time frame from April the 24th till June the 25th can bring a lot of activity. It's a good time to explore new business ideas, entrepreneurial endeavors. You can also spend more time with your hobbies. It's especially a good time if you're a writer, or if you're involved in marketing careers, sales careers, where there's a lot of connecting with others. It's a good time for socializing. It's a good time for making connections. At this time, because we're talking about Ashwini, you have to be watchful of acting with ethics. Because Ashwini is considered to be the beholder of dharmic action. In Gemini Navamsha, you can lack the patience and you would want to achieve things in a quick manner and take shortcuts and so on. On June the 26th, Rahu enters Pada 2 of Ashwini in the Navamsha of Taurus and remains there until August the 27th. It so happens on the same day, Ketu moves out of Swati. and into Chitra. So we straight away know that things will start to flow much better now, especially with relationships. Where they could have felt stuck. In the Navamsha of Taurus, Rahu does well. Both relationships and money will experience a positive boost now during the summer months. These weeks also coincides with a Venus retrograde period, which could have many people reconnecting with past relationships. It's a good time to move forward with career goals, but money can fluctuate. Money can fluctuate now. It's a good time to travel now. From August 28th till October the 30th, Rahu transits the first pada in the Navamsha of Aries, ruled by Mars. So here it does well. It's Virgotham. It gets aspected by Jupiter in Libra Navamsha for several weeks. It will move through the first pada till October 30th when it enters Pisces. Yeah. Now the final 2 weeks in October in this pada can bring some challenges as it coincides with 2 eclipses. Rahu will also be in the fire Gandanta at this time. Planets passing through Gandanta portions can bring some very powerful manifestations. The planets that are doing so tend to grasp and hold on to the karmas of the sign. Right? So we can get stuck instead of moving forward. And planets at the beginning of fire Gandanta have a knot around inspiration and moving toward a new way of thinking, moving toward a new way of being. So you can get stuck with initiating change, right? And resist getting started. Planets at the end of water have a knot around emotional attachments, and there's a resistance to let go and change because we want things to stay the same in some ideal state, even though that ideal state might just be in our mind. And even though that the ideal state might have long passed and it's now become toxic, there is still a tendency to just hang on and not let go. So planets in Gandanta at the end of water can be stuck in a past emotional outlook and have a difficult time releasing attachments to the past and the emotions that go with it. The fire Gandanta for Rahu is from October 10th till October 30th, and the water Gandanta period is from October 30th till November the 17th. So it's more than a month. And this is even further augmented when Rahu is in the fire portion as it aspects Venus in Leo at that time. And then in the water, when it's in the water Gandanta, it aspects Venus in Virgo. So both occasions, money and relationships will be in focus, right? Because Venus is right across from Rahu, both times. The fire Gandanta, I think, likely will be more eventful due to the eclipses falling in that time frame, and especially since Saturn's aspect is also on Aries and Leo, the 2 fire signs. So this time is very good to incorporate some remedies in your life. Because we're talking about Ashwini, whose controlling planet is Ketu, the best remedy is a Ganesha mantra, listening to it or chanting it. Ashwini is associated with ashwagandha, which is a herb to reduce anxiety and depression. It has many other benefits dealing with reproduction, maintaining a balance in the yin and yang aspects of your persona. So it's an excellent remedy, actually. There are other Ayurvedic herbs also associated with Ashwini that you can consider integrating in your diet. Favorable activities supported by Ashwini. Buying and selling. Buying and selling anything. Learning new skills. Starting new projects. Wearing new clothes and jewelry. Planting seeds. Literally or figuratively. Laying foundations. Housewarming. Traveling. Excellent. Shopping. health, fitness, and even getting engaged. So now let's talk about Rahu. Rahu represents pending karma. So wherever Rahu is transiting, past life themes can obviously come up. And it doesn't have to be a past life. It can be our past from this life also. Of course, Rahu is also pending desire, unfulfilled desire that the soul has a very etched memory of. These desires can manifest as an obsession, or they can also manifest as gripping fears. And wherever Aries falls in your chart, you may experience some big shifts. There will be unexpected changes. So in order to really understand how this will affect you, you need to look at the following. You need to see the lordship of Rahu for your Lagna. For instance, your Libra Lagna, then Rahu is your 5th lord, transiting 7th house. So watch for problems in relationships, especially if you're married. You may also suffer some business losses. So be cautious of big investments that you make at this time. It's a good time, however, to engage in any kind of spiritual activities, religious activities. Now, the second thing to see is whether any planets are situated in Ashwini in your chart. And what do they represent? So if you have personal planets here, you will be impacted directly. For example, your Leo Lagna, and you have Venus sitting in Ashwini, then this would trigger your 3rd and 10th house matters, as Ashwini rules both of those houses. With 7th Lord Rahu transiting over that Venus in the 9th house, where Venus signifies career, initiatives, you can see a boost in these areas. Your spouse can also be of assistance with your business, or you could meet new business partners, for instance. Travel could feature also. With Rahu, I've noticed you have to act fast if you want to see results. The opportunity can come very quickly, but caution and too much planning doesn't bring any results, as it may disappear quickly too if you hesitate. The last time we experienced Rahu transit in Ashwini was from July the 16th, 2004 till April the 2nd, 2005. So if you're old enough to remember that time frame, you may experience some similar themes come up in your life. As always, remember, Dasha serves as the background and takes importance. So if you are in Rahu, Mars, or Ketu Dasha, or Antardasha, then this transit of Rahu is very relevant for you. As usual, feel free to leave your comments, and do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, folks. All the best. Cheers.